We explored the 27.5-inch YT Capra CF Pro race at our last Bible summer camp, and we discovered a pure race machine. So we brought the seemingly more versatile Capra 29 CF Pro to Mammoth Bike Park, and lo and behold, we found a different bike. Its supportive DPX2 shock and even steeper seat angle made the Capra 29 an incredibly versatile bike.
So I was really impressed with the ramp that this bike had and the feeling of a little bit more mid-stroke support.
Yeah, I mean, even though it does have a lot of mid-stroke support, it feels like real supple, deep security traction. I felt like I was wearing like a security blanket and I could just go anywhere and drop into something. It gave me that confidence, which I really, really appreciated.
And part of that is this geometry versus suspension performance thing, where the suspension is rampy and you can push in or you can pop off of it, but it's got a long wheelbase and relatively long chainstay. It's a really forgiving bike all around, I think.
It's amazing the speeds you can carry just here in general, but on a bike like this, you can drift it confidently. It wants to stay at speed. It wants to hold that speed. It's amazing.
And I think that this is one of these bikes that doesn't only belong in the bike park. Because of that supportive feel, if you have to pedal to get your speed, if you're on sort of a flatter section somewhere, like we had some trails that had some rad little extra credit roots on either side, and you could hop to one and land on the transition on the other. Like, this was really intuitive for that kind of stuff.
It totally was, yeah. And like I was saying, I could go into that without hesitation and just know that I was gonna be good, you know? And not all bikes give you that level of security, you know?
There was nothing about this bike you had to get used to.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, okay, this is only this poppy bike, this is only this plowy bike. It just kind of, you get it. And a lot of that, I think, is the way they do their sizing. The 29, they go medium to double extra large. So
it's a little bit more of a reach-based sizing. YT gives you the opportunity to choose, I want this reach, or that reach, because all of them are going to have really low standover.
And that long reach makes the steep seat angle feel that much more intuitive. There it is, the part where we talk about seat angle. It helped make the Capra 29 incredibly versatile, as did the supportive DPX2 shock. And the adjustable geometry let us tune that versatility towards downhill or uphill, though we didn't agree on which was best.
And because it's a horse-link bike, you know, that steep seat angle helps it with the climbing because maybe kinematics aren't doing as much as maybe some other bikes. And it does have adjustable geometry. I preferred it in the high. You guys liked it in the low.
I just like the stability of the low. It felt like it was really ready for speed, super planted, really stable. So that was definitely a fun setting, but if you want a little more versatility to it, something that's going to climb a little better, you really enjoyed it in the high, didn't you, Palmer?
I feel like it made a big difference, actually. It's not a huge, like, actual geometry shift. It's only like half a degree. But for me, I felt in low, it was just boggy and I was like sagging into the suspension more. And when I put it in a high, I just didn't get as much of that. And it was just faster for me. I just felt like I wanted to push harder on the climbs when it was in the high position. But it didn't sacrifice on the descents for me. I felt like pretty much the same.
I mean, I didn't feel enough of a disadvantage on the climbs in the low position to really spend much time in the high. I rode it at the launch, I rode it in both high and the low then, and I found what I liked, and I still like it.
Yeah.
It's plenty versatile in that low position for me, but I think a lot of it depends on the smoothness of your pedal stroke, where you're riding, the steepness of it, just like all these other bikes. If you're going up something steep, you're gonna need the blue lever to do something for you.
Yeah, and it's also just about personal preference, I think, as well. And I mean, for me, I actually wanted to go to the high position, not just for pedaling, but because I was clipping pedals on stuff a lot and bottoming out enough in rock gardens that I was clipping pedals. And I was like, yikes, I'm gonna raise this thing up a bit. And that problem then went away. I don't know if you guys had that problem or not, but maybe I'm not that clean.
Well, and I think there's gonna be people who are gonna hear that and be like, yeah, I need this thing in the high position. And there's gonna be people who are gonna hear that and be like, yes,
I want a low bike. Thank you. Yeah. And fortunately, this is a bike that is more affordable for the masses if you can get one.
That's
they have
the biggest
been sold
problem.
out for eternity.
It's like getting tickets to a Madonna concert.
Because we all need those. Oh, so bad. But we can't get them. And it's a little frustrating when you want a bike, but it's always sold out. But this is an incredible value, and it brings it to the masses, and you get so much for your dollar here.
Spec-wise, I really like these E13 tires. They hook up super well, they're really durable, and they're not that heavy.
Especially for a tire this tough. It's like a full downhill style construction. Dual ply tire. If you're used to a little bit more supple riding tires, these are more forceful. You can run a little bit lower pressure to get that same ride because it is a little bit stiffer casing. But for a bike that's this capable, it's nice to see a tire this capable spec'd on it.
And they're paired with E13's pretty wide inner width rims, a 30 millimeter inner width rim. There's sort of a love affair between YT and E13 in general.
Yeah, and some people complain about the durability of the drivetrain stuff, wearing out cassettes and so forth. So that's kind of might be an issue for some people, wetter conditions, whatever. But the bike is a really good price point, and your shifter and derailleur are things that are really important, and those will last for sure.
And those are XTR on this
disposable parts you'll go through. You can replace them with whatever, but shifter and derailleur, those can last you years as long as you're not slamming them into stuff.
Yeah.
Not only that, you get a DPX2 rear shock and a 36 HSC LSC, parts that we really like that you can depend on, quality parts at this price point.
Yep, code brakes. I mean, really the only thing I could maybe find a nitpick about is the Fox dropper that stops at 150 mil. That's all you get, which is kind of a bummer with a bike with such low standover.
Dear Fox, make 170.
You got to put it in writing, man.
Yeah.
The YT Capra wins in the Valley department. There's even a $2,500 alloy version with a great build. Its stable geometry and playful suspension makes the best of both worlds. It's worth getting in line for. And check out our lineup of Bible summer camp videos at bikemag.com.